Mother, man.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right, what the hell is up, gentlemen?
Oh, what the fuck's up?
Doing some Murder Metal Mayhem here on a Tuesday. We are at Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network. Getting closer. We're at episode 194 tonight.
Almost there at that 200 bit.
Getting so close, so close. And here with me, of course, is Chris here at Horns High. And we got Joey doing the podcast in Ohio at 419 Studios. What's happening, Joey?
Changed it up. Now we're out here fucking, but still always fucking horns high at heart, you know?
That's right. And we've got this going on Zoom so we can see each other. I have to kind of click in and out of it, but, you know, it is nice to be able to at least see each other. And you've got your nice little setup there. We're going to record.
Yeah.
We're going to record some video tonight so you guys will get to see Joey's setup with his new webcam and same webcam as ours, so it looks very similar and looks great. Yep. So we're going to do the murder segment tonight, which will be an interesting one. And so looking forward to this tonight, guys. Now, a quick update for everybody. Our Facebook jail situation. I know a lot of people have been asking. So we got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that I can post stuff now in the group. So Joey has been doing it, which has been awesome. I can now do it. So it gives us at least some way to communicate with those of you that care about Facebook. I know a lot of you don't, obviously, because through all this, we've actually seen an increase in the listeners.
It's kind of fucked up.
Which it boggles my mind, but whatever the reason is, I don't know. But our Facebook page for Murder Metal Mayhem is what they call unpublished, which is basically it's there, but it's not.
But it's not. It's ghost. It's in limbo.
You can't see it. It's ghost, whatever term you want to use. And so now we can't do anything with that. So
we got canceled.
That's right.
We sure
did get canceled. So if you're a listener and you like using Facebook, join the Murder Metal Mayhem group. You could do that, and then you can get in on that, same as always. But we've got some other things that we're going to talk about that we're going to be doing in lieu of, not having that. And it's actually probably going to be for the better, honestly. So The strange thing is the posts that they were apparently concerned about. One was one I did a year ago, and the other one was a few months ago, both from me. But when I go to look at what post it was,
you can't see
it's grayed out, and it says it was removed, and I can't see it. So I have no idea what the two posts even were. So we're going to establish our own email list. You could sign up for it. We're not going to spam you and drive you nuts. But every week when the episodes drop or news or anything, we'll communicate that way and on our website that we're getting ready to roll out here. So for those of you, though, using Facebook, go to the groups. We can communicate that way. So it just sucks, because we really enjoyed that. And that was a good way we were getting people on the Killer Cage match.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to keep doing that, guys, but we'll do that on the groups. All right, the Murder Metal Mayhem group. So, all right. What shirts we got going on here tonight, Chris?
Got the old Murder Machine Clothing skull.
Go figure, Murder Machine Clothing.
I mean, come on, man. Like I got
Jason
fucking killing with all that shit, man. So yeah, I got the old skull fucking. I love the simple design on it. It's fucking dope.
No, that's very cool. Very metal. Very metal. And then, Joey, what do you got happening over there? I kind of like that.
Also a Murder Machine clothing shirt.
Right?
With this one was designed by me with the Pogo the Clown.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Casey.
Yeah, I love that
So
one.
fuck yeah. Also, I got the pigtails hat.
Hell yeah, dude.
Mexico porno grind.
That's
Fucking
awesome,
that's
dude. And
badass.
of course, it's Halloween season, so I'm busting out the horror shirts this whole month. But tonight,
Hell yeah.
got my favorite one, though, Pinhead, my favorite horror villain. Love him. And I know they're doing a reboot of it. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't think it's out yet,
I don't think so either.
but I'm anxious to see it. I know Doug Bradley was very complimentary of the actress. I
right,
said
because
actress.
it's a female, yeah.
Yeah, that plays him. But in the book, it was either a female or androgynous in the book. So it's
Right.
not that far off, but it just seems weird because Doug Bradley is Pinhead to most
Right, yeah,
people.
that's
that will follow
fucking
it.
Pinhead.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so last week, guys, we did our episode on the old Supermax out there in Florence.
Yeah, AXD.
Bad
88.
fucking place, Chris.
Yeah, I mean,
Not want to be there,
pretty fucking boring.
right? Kind of like our version of Black Dolphin, you know?
Dude.
And we had our buddy Tex on, which always amazing
Of
to have
course.
Tex on. Love having him on the show. And it was a good one. We got into the whole incident that happened in Marion that
Right
spawned the Supermax in Colorado.
Right here in Illinois.
Yeah, right here. We talk about some of the notorious prisoners that
wow.
are there at Supermax.
And there's been a lot of them that are like, yeah,
Yeah.
you deserve to fucking be there.
Bomber Row, which is
Yeah,
fucking
Bomber
awesome.
Row.
So we get into all that. And 8 suicides that have happened there since it's opened in 95. So that was a good one. We always love doing the prison episodes. I know a lot of you guys do too. I did the metal feature on the Danish thrash band Demolizer, plus Mayhem story from Joey,
Fuck yeah.
karaoke, the usual silliness, killer cage match, just good time.
I still can't get over Homeboy fucking picking up that chew and sticking it in his mouth, though. Dude.
Yeah, that was pretty
Oh,
nasty.
God damn it.
Yeah, Tex said that those were some pretty fucking classic stories.
Yeah, that I saw that. I thought that was funny. Now, we're closing in on 1,000 listens to that one today when I checked. So thank you. And again, that's about a 10% increase in listens from prior to all this shit.
Right, so fuck
So
it.
don't know what happened, but thank you. Tonight, though, guys, we're doing a horror theme. We're going with monsters this season for Halloween. Every week, we're rolling out a different one. Tonight, guys, we're going to be doing the story of Frankenstein.
Yeah, hell
Which
yeah.
is going to be badass. An iconic
Did you
horror
hear him,
story.
Did you hear him introduce the show?
I did. I thought that was very interesting. I don't speak
the monster.
I don't speak Frankenstein or monster, but yeah, we'll get to that. But that was great. That was great. So yeah, it's an iconic horror story written by a woman in the early 1800s. Some people didn't realize that, I'm sure. Mary Shelley was her name, and the story of how she came to even write the novel is very
Right.
fascinating.
She was young, too.
Yeah, 18 years old and
Right.
published in 1818. Go figure. That would go on to literally create an entire genre. But over the years, the true meaning of the story would be distorted, which is not uncommon with iconic work like that. People interpret things different, or over the years, like Telephone, it gets diluted, There have been so many that have tried to create it with their own versions. Some have made, new parts to the story. And some have done it in a comedic way.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into all that tonight here in the murder segment. So it's much more than a story about a mad scientist that created a monster. It's definitely going to be fun because it's a brutal one, violent, a lot of murder. And so it's right in our wheelhouse. We're going to do that tonight to kick off our Monsters of October with Frankenstein tonight. Now, Chris, you've got the horns, and what have you decided to do in the metal segment?
I am doing Deeds of Flesh.
Nasty.
So, yeah. Good old fucking
Nasty.
California metal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you sent me or you told me which track you wanted to use. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
Right?
Brutal shit for sure. And I don't know anything about them, so I'm anxious to learn something new. And I've got the Lost Classic tonight, and we'll have all that in the heavy metal news and other updates in the metal segment.
Fucking right.
Because I got some news about an album that's coming out on Friday. That's an indie band that is easily in my top 3 for the year.
Really?
Might even be number 1. It's absolutely fucking unbelievable. I'll get to that in the metal segment. Just totally loving this band. Killer Cage match tonight, guys. We got our listeners providing some random numbers, but Chris, we've been struggling here because we don't have the Facebook stuff.
That's where we always get our names, man.
And we're going to start doing it with the group page, okay?
Right.
But for the meantime, we had to go back in the sewer and drag up some real interesting characters here. Chris, who do we want to say thank you to tonight?
Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Mike Hunt and Jack Mehoff. Jack
Nice.
Mehoff.
Jack Mehoff, Mike Hunt, and Frankenstein. Okay. I was going to do N, period, and then
Right,
Stein.
Frankenstein, yeah.
But, just mixing it up. All right, so we got a good one going on. When that shit happens, I just have to randomly pull them out of my ass,
Right.
But we got a good one tonight. Nonetheless, Joey, we got a good matchup tonight. Who is fighting in the cage tonight?
This should be pretty interesting. Tonight we got the Oklahoma City Bomber, Timothy McVeigh, and then he's going to go up against fucking that narcissistic motherfucker, Israel Keys.
Oh, what a douchebag. What a douchebag. I already know who I'm voting against.
Right.
But we'll see, because, Chris, they got a couple
Yes,
objects
they do. They
that
always
always
do.
changes it
Yep.
up. A variable in the cage, which is interesting. And then they're going to fight to the death, and we'll do that in the metal segment. Now, we know McVeigh is already dead, and we know Keys is already dead. But this would be like at their
when
height
they're doing their shit.
of their killing time. Okay, that's how we do this. But that'll be in our Mayhem segment. And also, guys, in the Mayhem segment, I have got one whopper of a story
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this.
that I can't believe I forgot to tell this in the Mayhem segment. So I'm anxious to bust it out. It's a little bit of a longer story, but it's worth it. All right.
Right on.
Also, guys, I checked. We are closing in on 600,000 total listens to Murder Metal Mayhem. We're at 598, so we should have that this week. So huge thanks to everybody that's listening. And as we said, that listens despite the Facebook drama. Coming in this week, guys, 4,100. So up.
That's fucking awesome. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the 2,500 to 3,000 was kind of average, and we're now almost double that. So that's
yeah.
fantastic. So thank you. We hope that everybody that's listening that was affected by the Hurricane Ian storm, I mean, that was brutal there in Florida and any other states.
yeah,
we
I hope
you
y'all
guys
are good
are
down there.
okay.
Be safe.
I know we got a lot of Florida listeners, and so we're hoping everybody within earshot of this is okay and that you're doing good.
Hell yeah.
Well, guys, as always, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be traveling the globe for this one, though. We're going to do our best to not let some 8-foot giant motherfucker kill us all.
Yeah, let's get our fucking murder on shit. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Fucking
That was
kill
the UK band Flayed Disciple and their song War Master. So badass. Definitely love that, especially with the gunfire there at the beginning.
hell yeah,
It sounded
dude.
cool. Those guys are great. I did a feature on them a while back, so definitely a great band to go check out. Flayed Disciple. Definitely badass. And very cool guys, by the way.
Fucking A.
All right, tonight though, guys, we are doing the story of Frankenstein. I figured, start this out with the UK
Frankenstein.
band because that's where this all starts, right? Is in the UK. But this is the first one to be in our Monsters of October episodes. So, the novel, of course, written by British author Mary Shelley, was published anonymously in 1818, but later it would bear her name. And part of a fun contest her and her friends came up with, and she ended up basically creating a fucking horror genre with one deceptively deep fucking story.
Right, it's fucking amazing.
It's really good. The story is just fantastic. I am all about good stories. I love a good story, and a good storyteller is hard to top, and she does a great job here. And I'm anxious to talk about it. And I'm sure our listeners are going to learn some things they may not have known about Frankenstein before, and what, how it came to be, and kind of the legacy of it, and all the movies and all the TV shows, the plays. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Skit comedy.
Yeah, how much has been done with this story. And hopefully it inspires someone to go check out the novel, go buy it. You can buy those so cheap. I buy my books on eBay, but Amazon, you get any of that stuff pretty inexpensively. Or you can get it, you want to listen to it if that's your thing, go to Audible or whatever.
I'll get it. Fucking yeah.
Yeah, or the 1931 classic movie by the same name. Definitely we'll talk about it here tonight. So, Chris, I think most people, think the monster is actually Frankenstein,
No,
but it's not.
He's just monster.
Right.
And other names, too. I can't think of any offhand. But
there's a few that they used, but monster, creature.
Yeah, but Dr. Victor Frankenstein is actually the guy. Like, the monster's just, like you said, creature or monster.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a name,
I don't know. The original zombie? Is that how zombies started?
He's just a kind of a catch-all, but derogatory type names that this Dr. Frankenstein calls him. And so I think a lot of people think, though, and I slip into it very easily, refer to the monster as Frankenstein, but really it's not. Now, Joey, for most fans of horror, I mean, they could trace their origin of what got them into it by, iconic movies and books and, Dracula or maybe Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers. But why don't you think Frankenstein seems to be in that same conversation, or do you think it is?
I think it is, but it is to a much lesser extent. I do know a couple of friends of mine that are like real big into horror. Fred Vogel, who did August Underground trilogy and some other movies, like he's a huge fucking Frankenstein freak. He has like the tattoos and fucking.
Oh, cool.
So he supports it, but overall, like you said, I mean, most of the time, if you ask somebody like they're horror icons, Frankenstein's not one that's like. Immediately said, I guess.
Right.
And from doing this episode, guys, and the research and stuff, I was inspired to come up with my own version of Frankenstein, a modern story of Frankenstein type situation that I'm anxious thinking about doing a short story for the next Creation of Chaos short story collection.
I mean, if you're building a monster, you got to be on slab of sickness.
That's right. That's true. Very true. So
I was just gonna say, I feel like Frankenstein's got to be more iconic than what people give him credit for, because the Edgar Winters group, I don't think they wrote a song called Dracula.
Right.
There you go.
So
that's true. Now, I think our listeners are going to, definitely know who Frankenstein or what Frankenstein is. But as we've discussed, there's a lot more going on with this one. The thing I find most fascinating is how the whole story came from a friendly competition between friends. So the original title of this novel was Frankenstein, and I don't get the like it was kind of interchangeable or what the deal is, The Modern Prometheus.
Yeah.
Now, odd to have alternative titles. I'm not quite sure, but this was fucking 1818. So this is like before we knew what the fuck was going on, okay?
And they didn't...
She probably called it the modern Prometheus, and then everybody, whenever they were like, "Oh, tell us that story. What the fuck was it? The Frankenstein one."
Yeah. To be honest with you, the modern Prometheus is actually a really cool name because of the meaning.
Oh, super tight.
So when you look up Prometheus, okay, he's a titan from Greek mythology, and the story with him is he stole the fire from the gods and gave it to man to create civilization. Now, some have used the analogy of him creating mankind out of clay, but in any version of it, he's creating mankind, creating civilization, and because of this, he was punished because he wasn't supposed to give the fire to the humans. So that's the story.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah, it is very interesting because you could see that is what is going on here. Is this Dr. Frankenstein is trying to create mankind, and is that an ethically legit thing or not? And is it fair to this thing that you're going to create? And so that's the essence of the story. And
it didn't consent.
No, it did not. It did not. So later, of course, they just stuck with Frankenstein because, like Joey said, I'm sure that's how everybody remembered it, and that's a much better name, much better move there. So good idea. Prometheus, though, is a very intelligent parallel here to this story, but it doesn't roll off the tongue quite like Frankenstein.
No.
All right. Now, Chris, the author, Mary Shelley, was only, as you said, very young, 18 years old.
Right.
But she had a husband that was pretty famous. So.
Yeah, he's a poet, fucking pretty famous poet, and he was only he was older than her, but only 2 years or something like that. I think he was still pretty young.
Yeah,
and she was like you said, 18, a female in the 1800s, fucking writing this story is pretty freaking people out. Like, holy shit!
Oh yeah,
scared of it.
People knew who her husband was, Percy Shelley, a famous poet, like you said, Chris. But, she's taken this story coming out of nowhere, and it would still be held as an accomplishment to any author. But the fact that it was a female at that time period is very impressive.
I guess she had to think about what she was going to write for a second. Thought she was going to, because everybody would ask her what she's going to, where's the story? So she had to think about it for a while. I got to make this shit good. Fuck.
Yeah. So she had two parents who were both philosophers. So she grows up in this very, liberal type upbringing. Her mother's a Mary Wollstonecraft. What a last name. Her last name is Wollstonecraft. Wow. She was a feminist at that time. I can't even imagine there were feminists
in the 1800s.
In the fucking hundreds and early 1800s at that.
They were all free love and shit.
Wow.
Dude.
I don't know what the hell was going on, but she's definitely ahead of her time because the 60s wouldn't show up for another 150 years, ladies. So you're going to be waiting a while. She would die, Mary Shelley would die at the age of 51 of a brain tumor. Her husband, Percy, died at age 29 in a boating accident. So, but she definitely held a very led a very interesting life. And so, like I said, kind of a little bit of her backstory, but I didn't want to overdo it.
Right.
Now, Joey, I thought the reason she wrote the story was really cool. What was the deal with that summer of 1816?
It's like a song by Bryan Adams.
Right.
No, but she's with Percy, her husband, and then her stepsister too, Claire. Right. And they go meet up with Lord Byron, and Lord Byron, especially at that time, he was a very well known poet. He was huge.
Right.
And they're all hanging out at this manor, this huge, I think it was a castle, in Geneva, Switzerland, and they're hey, we're stuck inside. Why don't we have a writing contest? And Lord Byron, he was the one that suggested it, and this was what she came up with as her telltale or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, what a cool thing, right? She comes up with a story like this off the cuff.
It just makes fucking history.
Over a weekend with the original idea, but then, of course, took time to write the novel. But what cracks me up about this story is you got this motherfucker that's going by Lord Byron, okay? He was an actual lord, so I'll give him that. But somebody that wants me to call his ass
Lord Byron.
Fuck you.
How are you today,
come
sir?
on with that bullshit. Okay, so I got an issue with old Lord Byron. But now hear this, okay?
What if that was his name?
I looked. It's not.
I know.
That's what I looked just to make sure. Because if it was his name, then okay.
Like,
that's
shit,
his name.
your parents are shitty parents.
Yeah, I don't know what his first name was, but it's not fucking Lord, okay? So the writer, the big writer here of the group, suggests they have a writing contest.
He's like,
because that's like fucking Shaq, like challenging everybody in the house to a game of basketball. Exactly. You know, I mean, come on. It's like not even legit. Now, his friend, Percy, he's a writer, okay? Yeah. His 18-year-old fucking bride.
Right.
And his doctor.
Yeah, wasn't the old girl pregnant with somebody else's kid, too? Like Lord Byron's old lady or whatever?
Yeah, it was some kind of Claire was pregnant with Lord Byron. Yeah. It's this fucking very incestuous type situation here. But I'm just cracking up at the fact that Lord Byron in his pompousness challenges everybody to a writing contest. But what's absolutely fucking hysterical is that the two non-writers of the group
there's two of them.
Were the two that wrote literally monster classics of horror. We're going to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one is the person we've been talking about, Mary Shelley. She was not, she came from an intelligent family. She was well educated, and she may have done some writing, but this is obviously a whole different level here.
Yeah.
But so she comes out of nowhere with this, okay? She did come from money. She was well educated. And the other one, though, was Lord Byron's personal physician, John Polidori. You've never heard of that guy before. I had never heard of this dude before. And then I started researching it. I've got a book with this short story in it. It's really good. He was an Italian, of course, doctor living in England, okay? And so Polidori would end up writing the short story called The Vampire, and that's vampire with a Y instead of an I, which is like the classic way you write it. And this would be part of the influence that would encourage Bram Stoker to write the classic Dracula 70 years later in 1897.
So like two
that's
fucking
a big fucking deal. You know?
Two monster creations in the same fucking time.
Sitting around the campfire.
Yeah.
Two of the four people that were not writers wrote those two things.
Amazing shit.
That's fucking cool. But I think it's hilarious. Lord Byron and old Percy Shelley had nothing to fucking show for it. I mean, what are you going to put down on the table after somebody lays down Frankenstein and, in essence, Dracula?
Yeah, you win. I can't do shit, man. Fuck.
Exactly. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Now, Chris, the monster is called all kinds of names. There's just some nasty ones.
Yeah, like one of my favorite is Wretch. Yeah, I knew those. I had those a list of them. Yeah, fucking Wretch. Wretch, creature, demon, obviously, monster, fucking
It. I saw. Yeah, It, which is kind of funny.
I mean,
and even the devil, man, like just hating on his ass.
Pretty sure most of those are just already death metal or heavy metal band names, if not parts of a metal band name. Like
he had to be a metalhead,
right?
Right?
I mean, come on,
Joey,
man.
Don't you agree? The dude had to be a metalhead.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Mary Shelley was probably a metalhead.
Fuck yeah.
She probably was.
They should have brought Mary Shelley back in the fucking phone booth with Bill and Ted.
Oh, there you go. So very cool nicknames there. Now, Joey, one of the main themes of Frankenstein is that the scientist, as we've mentioned, Victor Frankenstein, he's acting like a god creating life, and kind of acted, as I said, as a Prometheus type character, but pretty deep there with that analogy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, and obviously that's why she, possibly named it the modern Prometheus,
Right.
Because it made so much sense. But, in essence, he played God, and he created something. He created something that was hideous beyond his comprehension.
Right.
At the same time, if you look at it a different way, I guess the same way, kind of, but the monster and Victor Frankenstein are in essence the same person, but it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Very much
one's
so.
One side and one's the other. So,
Yeah.
that idea and that storyline, that resonated in Jekyll and Hyde, obviously.
Yeah,
But
that's
also,
funny you mentioned that, because I've got something
Yeah.
at a point to bring that up about the comparisons to Jekyll and Hyde, for sure.
And if you look at how all this is influenced later on, I mean, obviously the influence is countless in the things that we can talk about, but a big one that you could talk about is Stan Lee when he wrote The Incredible Hulk. The ideas were the same in essence from Frankenstein.
For sure.
That's a really good comparison.
Just not like a monster. I guess, I mean, yeah, it is basically the same. I guess I don't know
And
what the
even
fuck
green,
I'm trying to
too.
say. Yeah, and green.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very cool analogy. Yeah, I never thought about that one. So, he, hates this doctor so much, because he feels like he's cursed, and he wants to cause as much pain to this doctor who did this to him and turned him into this evil, vile thing. And he absolutely just fucking hates him. So you got this battle going on between the monster and his creator, and it kind of bounces back from who really is the monster. Is it Frankenstein, or is it Creature, or the wretch, or the monster?
I think it's a cross between both.
It really is, and that's
honestly
what makes the story so cool. And so this shit is going on. He chases the fucking monster through deserts, through fucking mountains.
How this dude get in all these places?
I don't know, but they end up at the fucking North Pole, because that's how the story starts.
Yeah.
The guy is in the North Pole, and he comes across this whole situation and learns this story. There's all kinds of murdering going on, and it is fucking intense. I mean, I had no idea that all this was going on in addition to the evil scientist creating the monster. There's all kinds of murdering going on, and he was created from the parts of bodies. So, I mean, that's pretty gruesome for sure. And so this battle just goes on throughout the book, and all this murdering. The doctor eventually dies. So Dr. Frankenstein dies from the cold up at North Pole, of all places. And the monster decides to just take himself on a little raft and push himself out in the ocean and light the motherfucker on fire.
Hey, there you go.
And that's how he
Viking
goes
funeral.
out. And that's pretty fucking brutal and very fucking metal.
Yeah, very metal.
I mean, serious. What song, Chris, is playing as he's riding off or floating off?
I mean, it's a Viking funeral, so Amon Amarth something.
Amon Amarth,
yeah, fucking.
Joey, what do you think, man?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some Viking shit,
right?
For sure.
It's like
that's a good call.
Also, though, like when the monster came alive, he wasn't like all like it's alive or whatever, like they show in movies and shit. Like he was like hated himself for it because like they were talking. Thing I was listening to this professor that like studied it a lot. He fucking. Like in the book, he's like opens his yellow eye and all his skin's all fucked up and everything because he's a corpse.
Right.
And the doctor's instantly just like, oh shit, basically like, oh shit, the fuck did I do? I'm stupid. I should have never done this.
Yeah.
So
too late.
Yeah, but too late now.
Yeah, for sure. So, he just starts killing everybody that's close to this guy. So, I mean, he's going after his family,
Right.
his fucking wife. I mean, like, it's pretty fucking crazy and very, very brutal. And some believe that her husband, Mary Shelley's husband, Percy, was the one that actually wrote that book. And he did provide some editing. But I watched one documentary where they studied the notes that he kept during the project.
Right.
And it looked more like he was doing what they call line editing, which is just changing words around or word choices, but not the story.
Not changing what it was like.
Not the action and what's going on, just the sentence structure and the words and that kind of stuff. Very important.
He's like, bitch, you sound like a redneck.
Right? Exactly. Let's smarten you up a little bit. No. So that's all he was doing. So she totally wrote this, in my opinion. And of course, I would assume the fact she was a woman would have been the reason so many doubted she could do something so dark at that time.
Of course.
This is groundbreaking stuff, whether it was a man or a woman that
right.
wrote
Who
this,
at that time?
And the first press of it was it was released anonymously.
Right, for that
didn't
reason.
even have her name on it first. Yeah,
people probably wouldn't have taken it seriously, unfortunately. But she fucking shows them. That's for damn sure.
Like, I wrote this shit.
Yeah, so
they're like, do it again. Bam,
Yeah,
Bride of Frank. No, I'm just kidding.
the story really shook things up because at that time, writers were writing stories about human triumph.
Right.
And this was the opposite. This is a human destroying itself.
Straight violence.
And doing some horrid shit. And much, much deeper of a story than I had any idea. So, very, very cool. I always love to learn stuff about things I don't know anything about. And that is just very fascinating to me. Now, Chris, it was changed and edited some and then republished in 1831. I'm not sure if that's how long it took him to say it was Mary Shelley or not. I'm not sure about that, but it was originally published anonymous, like Joey said, and then at some point
they came back and put it
on. Was her name on it.
Right.
But later on, you could find copies of it from the original 1818 version, which I was looking at my copy and I can't tell, but I did see in some of the listings for it, if you read it, some will say it's the original 1818, or if it doesn't say anything, then it's not.
And then it's not, right.
So if you're really into that kind of stuff, that's what you want, is the 1818 one. But I don't know which one.
Not that King James version.
That's right. That's right. Go with the Old Testament here. Now, Joey, most modern criticisms of Frankenstein have been really positive, and would even call it like that classic teenager type book. What do you think about that? I mean, it was listed in the BBC 100 most influential novels list in 2019, so at least as late as that, still considering it that influential.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking huge story. Growing up, it was one of the first, horror books that I read, because I got really into, the Universal monsters. Whenever I was really, really young, and you could go to the library back then, I always went to the library back then, but you get the horror books and Dracula and the Mummy, and all of these were easily obtainable, and some of them were dumbed down, for kids to read, but it was still
for sure
good. And then you get older and you read the actual, they're just really, really good stories. And the thing about Frankenstein that's different than any of the other monsters, and this was made evident in the book as well as the movie, but Frankenstein, he'd kill people and whatever else, just like all the other monsters did, but he was the only pitiable villain out of all of them, where people actually kind of felt bad for him because he got fucked around and he didn't ask for none of that, So
true,
bringing that part of the story it's a way deeper part of the story, I guess. So bringing that through shows why it's such a literary masterpiece and why it's continued to be, like you said, criticized so well.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that like modern kids, reading the Hunger Games and Harry Potter and all the different series. I mean, in some way, the old classics aren't as popular with the younger kids,
right? Because it's not.
Their times change, even between our ages, you would see things. But I agree with you 100%, Joey, that the book is an iconic classic. Yeah. I just wonder with the young kids, like the teenagers of today, probably would know a lot more about Harry Potter than they ever would about Frankenstein.
I have no doubts about that.
You know what I mean? But I think the older you get, I think the more common it would have been, and I could see your guys' age maybe being at the tail end of its more popular, popular way. So, but yeah, I just find it interesting as an author myself, and looking at how things become such a popular thing all of a sudden like that literally out of whole cloth, that comes out of completely nowhere with this, but pretty interesting to look at it that way. So now there have been dozens and dozens of books, comics, movies, games,
so many,
using the monster from Frankenstein. There have been countless adaptations, some that have tried to change stuff, add
fucking
elements.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, doing the Bride of Frankenstein, so doing some funny shit. The 1931, the one I mentioned earlier from Universal Films called Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. That's as classic as it gets there. Playing the monster is considered by some, or most, I should say, to be the closest to this Mary Shelley story. So there are a whole series of movies with Hammer Films from 1957 to 1974. Some of these titles crack me up, but they really went on a binge on Frankenstein because they had like dozens of them. The Curse of Frankenstein, Frankenstein Created Woman, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. I love that one. Among others. Now, have you guys seen any of those?
No, I have not.
Joey, you're a big horror buff. Have you seen any of those?
I've seen quite a few, yeah. Like you said, there is countless amounts of fucking Frankenstein movies if you were to look at the whole catalog and shit. But,
yeah.
So the classics.
None of the Hammer Films one though.
Yeah, have you seen any of those Hammer Films ones though?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I want to check out that, but the one with the monster from hell. It just sounds really good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot of Dracula ones too.
Oh, I'm sure there for sure.
Is there fucking?
Yeah.
Isn't the monster basically the monster from hell though? So is he fighting himself?
I don't know. Now, Chris, not all of the hundreds of movies and TV shows have been serious.
I can't imagine any of those ones we just named were serious.
Of course, right? But Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder bust out The Bride of Frankenstein.
No, it's Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it is Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's Young Frankenstein.
Sorry, right? Yes, you're correct. I'm sorry. Bride was in one of the other titles. My apologies. Young Frankenstein, definitely fucking hilarious. With those two, Mel Brooks is fucking the shit.
Dude, Mel Brooks is fucking hilarious. And Gene Wilder, together.
Right.
Like, come on, man.
Right.
Shit, the whole, what brain is that? It said Addie Normal. Or Abby Normal.
Abby Normal. So, it is really amazing. You look up how many books and movies, Chris, and it's just unbelievable with this one. Really is cool. Now, we haven't even mentioned plays, songs, art, and other dramatic versions of this. It's really insane when you look at all of it. I would even venture to guess that, as we talked about, the book, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson, was influenced by the Frankenstein novel. There's
how could you not be?
Yeah. That was printed. Jekyll and Hyde came out in 1886, so quite a few years later. The story endures all these years, and it really does rise above anything else that has been written about it since. So, I mean, all hats off to Mary Shelley for this one. I mean, like I said, she did go on to write other books, and I'm not sure how popular those were, but obviously nothing would have compared to this.
I mean,
this was
she came out hard, dude. Like,
right, yeah, for sure. Hard to top something like that. Now, Joey, I know you're really into horror movies. Is there anything you wanted to add to this conversation?
Yeah, I was going to add a couple things. I was fucking... If people are watching this, if we fucking post it live or on YouTube, I've been fucking looking. I've got Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters.
Oh, nice.
And that movie is like, is considered one of the best fucking horror comedies of all time, and it's so fucking good.
Right.
But yeah, I had a few things to add. Fucking got the fucking Frankenstein right here.
Nice.
Gonna watch that one later tonight with Stephanie because she's read the book, she never saw the movie.
Never seen the movie, right on.
So a couple things, that fucking some people might not know. In Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein, there was no electricity used. That came out in the movie. And then almost every adaptation of Frankenstein after the movie came out, they used the electricity.
Right.
So that was something that Mary Shelley didn't even have in the.
That's what I was going to say. They wouldn't have even had it.
I was going to say, yeah.
Which also, side note, I'm pretty sure I saw it because, like you said, Pete, there was a bunch. Yeah, true. But there was a fucking ton of plays that came out after the book came out before the movie. And I'm pretty sure that one of the plays was done by Thomas Edison. So I thought that was pretty classy.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking,
no shit, that's crazy.
Maybe he put part of the electricity thing on there. I don't know. So in 1931, whenever Frankenstein came out, that movie was like crazy elaborate for Hollywood for back then. The lab that they created for Dr. Frankenstein,
right?
It was so amazing that lab and pieces of the lab and everything else were continuously seen. You could see them, and they were used in Hollywood until the 70s.
Oh,
God,
wow.
So that's
really?
like 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how elaborate that shit was.
That's crazy. Joey, I looked up the electricity was invented 1821. So that would have been after this. So yeah, when she wrote that, no electricity yet. So
right.
Just wanted to confirm that.
No, yeah, for sure. So in the movie, the little girl who ends up getting killed by the Frankenstein monster, Maria, she's played by Marilyn Harris. She's a 7-year-old. They said whenever she first met him was whenever they were going to shoot the scene where they were at the beach together, or the lake or whatever.
Oh, shit.
And whenever she first met him, he came out of the car and he was full on Frankenstein mode.
Wow.
He was already in makeup and everything. And she ran over to him, grabbed his hand, and asked if she could ride with him.
That's awesome.
And he was like, yeah, you can ride with me, So that was pretty cool. And then they said cool. the scene where he picked her up and he threw her in. When they first did it, I don't think they got the shot right, or it wasn't how the director ended up wanting it.
Right.
So he asked the little girl, he's like, what would it take for you to do that shoot again? And she said, 1 dozen hard-boiled eggs. 'Cause her mom had her on a strict diet, and she couldn't eat stuff like that. So she was like, I want 12 hard-boiled eggs.
Damn,
so
cool Aunt Luke.
Yep. So they redid the scene. They went ahead and did the scene, and then Whale, I think James Whale was his name, but he ended up giving her 2 dozen hard-boiled eggs for doing it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Now, the last thing I was going to say, and this pertains to the movie too, is Okay, so when that movie came out, it was crazy. It was deemed really, really fucking crazy shit to watch.
Right.
Like, and nowadays it's nothing. But back then they had like all kinds of issues with like whenever they had the fire up in the Frankenstein's face and shit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they didn't like that. There was a bunch of shit. So obviously the scene with the little girl getting fucking thrown into the water by the Frankenstein creature. You know, that was definitely fucking something they didn't like.
Right.
And that was cut out of certain issues of it, like across the world, like certain places.
Really?
Like, it was that scene was cut
wow.
and banned or whatever. So, but what's crazy is so after that, then all of a sudden the father just comes walking up holding his dead daughter, talking about, you know, my daughter's been murdered and this and that. And to be honest, they said that by taking away that and leaving it up to the people's imaginations, that it actually came out way more sinister than
For
it would have been if they just left it.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool though.
That
but,
is
yeah.
cool. Interesting. All right. Well, very good. Anything else, guys, to add to this one?
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys liked hearing us talk about this iconic monster like, you know, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's creation. I suggest you check out the novel and at least that 1931 Boris Karloff version, but there's so much out there, really. You want to go watch the Monster from Hell Frankenstein movie, that would be fucking badass. Do some extra credit, write a book report on that.
And Robert De Niro played Frankenstein too in a 90s adaptation.
Oh,
so
shit.
Go check that one out.
I think I remember that, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, I did my research for this one by watching a very good documentary that had a good summary of this novel. It's about an hour long on YouTube. It was really good. I do have the book. I did not get a chance to read it, unfortunately. There's lots of really good documentaries on Mary Shelley and the writing of this. So there is stuff out there if this interests you. As a writer, like I said, I'm very impressed, and I find it really fascinating about how somebody creates a story as iconic as this. And so I thought that maybe you guys would too. So hopefully
It's fucking awesome, man.
And, you know, go out and check it out for yourself. Now, next week, we're going to keep it rolling with another monster episode. But, Chris, this time we're going down.
We're going to the Painted Wraith once again, just
Hell
like
yeah.
last October. Fuck yeah. Do
Yeah,
one
sorry,
tonight.
Joey, you won't be there, but you'll be on the episode with us. We'll just do your remote like we are right now. So,
Yep.
but we're going to be down at the Painted Wraith, which is a cool oddities shop in downtown Bloomington, Illinois. And we did our witchcraft episode there last time.
Now we're doing
Mike
vampires.
and Stephanie
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to be there, the owners, and the store is just so fucking cool. So we're going to be there when they're closed. So don't come down there
Right,
looking
like,
for us, okay?
trying to
Because
fucking
they
come
close
see a
at
show,
6.
yeah.
So once their doors are locked, then that's when we set up. So.
Yep.
All right, and we're going to be doing one on vampires, though. That's going to be cool. We talked a little bit about vampires tonight. We're going to do more of that for sure next week.
I mean,
And
we got to come back to this story for vampires.
pretty much
I mean,
do, right? With
like,
old
for
John
real.
Polidori. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be surrounded by a ton of good, creepy stuff.
Fucking
So
right, we are.
The witchcraft episode got a ton of listens, so apparently people dig that shit. Joey, any page of days for us this week?
I've only got 2 quick ones, but fucking
That's all right.
on.
definitely get into them. And I received in the mail the 2023 page a day.
Fuck
So
yeah,
fucking,
dude.
I
Hell
got
yeah.
that. Yep. All right. So the first one is about states that have strange laws.
Okay.
So apparently in the state of Nebraska, people with STDs are not permitted to marry.
What?
So if you have, so if you got herpes, you're shit out of luck.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
In Idaho, cannibalism is illegal except in extreme life-threatening conditions.
I think I've heard that one before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Extreme life-threatening conditions.
Yeah, so if you're about to die and you need to, you can go ahead and kill somebody and eat them.
That's great.
Maybe not kill them.
Yeah,
Murder's not part of that.
Yeah, they got to be dead already, I'm sure.
The state of Ohio, where I'm sitting at right now, they got a law that says coal mines must have an adequate amount of toilet paper.
That would be nice.
So if you're in the coal mine, you better fucking be able to be shitting right.
Right.
You're going to get arrested.
That's right. You run out of your ration, your SOL, man.
The little state of Rhode Island. In Rhode Island, it is illegal to bite off a person's limbs.
Well, that's good.
Limb or limbs.
That's nice.
Good thing we got that law going.
I watched a documentary the other day of a dude that was biting off the nipples of all the women he killed.
Oof.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, God damn, dude, that's pretty fucking brutal. Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that.
And then the... What, bite some nipples off?
Yeah. We'll cover the guy that bites nipples off. Sorry.
And then, no, you're good. And then the last state that Page a Day is talking about is, you got to give it up for Virginia, and their law says no sex before marriage.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I guess Virginia's not for lovers.
I guess not. It's not. Not unless you're married, right? That's fucked up.
All right, so this is the second one I'm doing. I'm only doing the 2 this week, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So they're talking about a trial, and this is a guy we've had in the Killer Cage match before. Some of y'all remember, but this was a trial that basically divided America, and this was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, they did a poll at the time, and most black Americans, they believe that O.J. Simpson was innocent of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson,
Right.
and Ron Goldman, while a bunch of white Americans were confident of his guilt.
of course.
So this is just their polls, I guess. But anyway, so the prosecution's mountain of evidence against Simpson was called into question by his all-star defense team, who built a dramatic case accusing the Los Angeles police of racism and of bungling the initial investigation. After a 252-day trial, the jury was not so divided. On October 3rd, 1995, so that would have been yesterday, fucking in 95.
Wow.
After 4 hours of deliberation, they found Simpson not guilty on both counts of murder. Now, 2 years later, in February 1997, Simpson was found liable for the murders in a civil suit, and he was ordered to pay the victims' families $33.5 million. But because his whole fortune was depleted by his legal battle and his tarnished reputation, he never paid them a dime. They never got anything.
Right.
And of course, O.J. Simpson was again arrested in 2007 on robbery charges whenever he was stealing his trophies back, and he fucking did get 9 years in prison for that.
Yeah.
I forgot he was stealing his trophies back.
There's at least that, right?
Yeah.
Some justice.
So that's the 2 Page a Days, but fuck yeah, fucking
awesome. Love
Page
some
a Day.
Page a
Thank
Day.
you.
God
Looking
damn.
forward to Page a Day 2023 for
If
sure.
the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, we have done our share of murdering tonight, and I think it's time to crank up the fucking metal and talk about it. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Ooh,
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right, CK, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Hard to believe it's almost a year that he's been gone, and forever known here as the great metal motherfucker. We're eating Pop-Tarts, guys. That means
As
we're in
always.
the metal segment, and we always eat Pop-Tarts in the metal segment. And thanks to our listeners for sending them in. As a matter of fact, guys, talking about sending some shit in, I got a text message today from Tex. He went to that Day of the Dead museum, and he's sending us some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he's sending us some stuff, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's very, very nice of you, because he sent us some cool stuff in here before. Of course, we got the prison guard tower and shit that he sent us that an inmate made, which is cool as hell. So
Fucking
always
can
love
see
getting
that.
stuff.
You
But
can
in
see
the
it
message,
in the video. Nice.
right? But in the message, he said, I was going to send some Pop-Tarts, but I thought you guys had plenty of those. So
right. Yeah.
I said, yeah, we're Pop-Tart rich over here, is what I told him. So, all right. Well, we are in the metal segment, and we rotate the horns. So I had the horns last week.
I get the horns
Passing
this week.
them to Chris
Fucking
here
A.
because he's got the horns this
Oh
week.
yeah.
And that means, Chris, you get to pick what we're doing in the metal segment.
Yeah, and I picked Deeds of Flesh. You're going to have to forgive me because my notes are like all over the place. I'd see something else and I'd write it in somewhere, and I got like arrows and shit all over my notes and shit. But yeah, it's cool. But yeah, fucking Deeds of Flesh formed in 1993 in Los Osos, California. Is that how you pronounce that? Los Osos?
That
Los
sounds
Osos.
Los Osos, yeah, and Los Osos, California, by Jacoby Kingston, Eric Lindmark, and Joey Helslet. Sorry, my bad. And they fucking put out their first EP on Wild Rags Records called fucking Gradually Melted. Jacoby and Eric and Joey like all played in different bands, but they were like thrash-based bands in the same spot, and they'd hear each other playing during practice or whatever. So they'd fucking started talking, and it's like started getting into death metal like and shit, and they both loved it. So like, man, maybe we should jam and shit. So they fucking started playing. They're like, man, we should just fucking just write songs together, just quit our other bands, and just work on this. So that's what they did. They fucking went through that.
Okay.
And so, like, I'm just going to go real quick through their fucking discography real quick. And then there's some, like, mostly what I'm going to talk about is some newer shit on their newest album, which I think is kind of really fucking cool. But yeah, their first album was in 96. It was called fucking Trading Pieces on Repulse Records. And again on Repulse Records in 98 was Inbreedy, the amp, god damn it. Anthrophagy. God damn, I can't read. And then after that, they fucking lost their contract with fucking Repulse, so they actually formed fucking Unique Leader Records, which we all know Unique Leader has some fucking wicked ass bands on there right now. So they formed fucking Unique Leader in fucking 98 or 97. I didn't write that down, but yeah, it's on there. And then in 99 they put out Path of the Weakening. In 2001 they put out Mark of the Legion. 2003, Reduced to Ashes. 2005, Crown of Souls. 2008, Of What's to Come. 2013 is Portals to Canaan. And then, most recently in 2020, they put out Nucleus. So, but prior to Nucleus coming out, fucking Eric Lindmark, he was the last original member in the band. He was fucking vocalist, guitar player. He died in 2018 of sclerosis. So, during his funeral, Jacoby had found out about this from Mike Hamilton on the way to the funeral. He found out that like Eric had been sitting on a whole album's worth of music. He just hadn't put any vocals to or anything. The whole album was done. So Jacoby's just like, well, fuck, I want to do that shit, dude. So he's like, I'm the last original vocalist, whatever. So like they decided they're going to have Jacoby come back on and do the vocals on it and shit. So not only that, they decided, because like Jacoby was all about like, it's going to be weird doing it by myself, because me and Eric always did dueling vocals or whatever, like double vocals. It's going to be weird doing it by myself. So they decided to get a bunch of other death metal vocalists to come in and do guest spots and like basically paying homage to fucking Eric and shit. So like they got fucking Luke Lemmy from Gorguts. They got Gallagher from Dying Fetus. They got fucking Corpse Grinder fucking on the track. Fucking They got fucking Bill Robinson from Decrepit Birth, fucking just a bunch of motherfuckers on there come out and did guest vocals, and the album fucking crushes, dude. It's fucking amazing as shit. And so not only did they have the other vocalists on there, fucking, but the first track on there is like a girl like reading something, because it's like the album is the end of a trilogy. The two albums before that of what's to come, Portals to Canon, and Nucleus is like a trilogy, and this is like the end of it. So the girl reading it is actually Jacoby's 11-year-old daughter.
Oh, cool.
So he had her reading this thing, but in his head it was supposed to be a British voice, so he had to have his fucking 11-year-old daughter that's from California do this all in a British voice, and it sounds fucking cool as shit, dude. That's fucking awesome. So, and then other than that, the first track number 2, fucking Alien Scourge, the first scream on that song, it's the first one with the lyrics. Fucking, the first scream is fucking goddamn, Jesus, Jacoby. And then he took a track, one of the tracks from what was it? From Crown of Souls. I don't know which song it was, but Alien Scourge, he took Eric's scream and added it with his, so the song starts out with Eric on the fucking album as well.
Oh, cool.
And then the last song with fucking lyrics, fucking Terror, he took one of fucking Eric's vocal lines, took that track off of fucking of What's to Come, and put it on the end last fucking verse of that song on the fucking last song.
Oh,
so
cool.
Eric fucking is on the album at the beginning and he fucking ends it, which I thought was fucking dope as shit,
like
man.
that.
And another way they paid homage to fucking him is like on the album art itself, like there's these like guys like floating in space, not in space, and there's like big head looking at him, and like the sash across the main dude's chest says Eric across the front of it. I thought that was badass.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, fucking Deeds of Flesh still out there kicking it, fucking throwing shit down. They've had a few lineup changes and whatever, and I did not write down the fucking current lineup right now. Fucking, I could probably look it up real quick. But yeah, they're still out there fucking Deeds of Flesh, man. I fucking love them.
That's
awesome. Go check them out if you haven't.
While you're checking that out, Chris, I was going to say, I looked up, we were talking about Hellraiser earlier. It comes out on Friday.
October 7th. Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
so it comes out Friday, so I'm definitely going to mark that on the old calendar there to check out.
Right. All right, so the current lineup is Jacoby Kingston on vocals, Mike Hamilton on drums, Craig Peters on guitar, and Ivan Menguia on guitar. So that's current lineup right there.
Oh, yeah, very cool. Good,
So, yeah.
good stuff, Chris. All right, I got the Lost Classic tonight, and I had this, just came up. I listened to an album, and then the Four Horsemen come up, the original Metallica from Kill 'Em All, and I was like, you know what, that is just the fucking shit. I haven't heard that in so long, so I went back and listened to Kill 'Em All.
Hell yeah.
Fucking amazing, man. That is just such a great album, and what a huge fucking tidal wave it started with those guys. And I may not agree with what they've sounded like as of late, but man, for me, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets,
Of course.
That's it. After that, they slowly started to decline for me.
Right.
But I love those three, and so that's my Lost Classic.
Hell yeah.
All right, what has everybody been listening to, Chris? I know you're an eclectic kind of guy.
Right. Obviously, fucking goddamn.
Deeds of Flesh.
Yeah, my brain just went stupid. But yeah, obviously Deeds of Flesh. And since they were talking about him when I was doing that shit, fucking I went and listened to some Gore Guts and shit. But yeah, fucking other than that, just randoms.
Cool. Joey, what about you?
I was listening to fucking Coat Hanger Abortion, their new fucking EP, fucking Plan C. Now that I guess fucking now that we're on the group page, I got some fucking reviews I need to get fucking
Me too.
posted up.
Me too. I
was kind of waiting to see what that was. Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, that's what we'll just post them there.
Yeah. So anyway, I saw that, or I was listening to that. I was listening to fucking Carcass. I don't know, nothing too new. Fucking been working on the new Goremonger album. I got a whole bunch of that recorded and shit. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
dude.
been my listening shit.
Yeah, for sure. I stumbled on a band. I belong to a group. This one guy from Australia, he has a death metal page and a thrash metal page, and he has the greatest suggestions, new albums that are coming out and stuff. This band called Sinnery, I mentioned them last week, from Israel. They're fucking amazing. Their album is called Black Bile. It's really good. The first album is okay, but this one just, wow, it's really good.
I still think it's nuts they're from Israel.
Yeah. And they remind me of like a Misery Index kind of band. Very, very technically like killer instrumentally. Pretty impressive stuff.
Right.
The new Corrosive, I cannot say enough about this. I did an interview with those guys the beginning of the year. We featured them on here. Corrosive with a K from Toronto. They are incredible, and their new album drops on Friday as well. Toxic Apocalypse. It is fucking ridiculously good. I gotta say, it's easily, this is the one I mentioned in the intro, easily in my top 3 albums of the year. Could possibly be the first. I just have to really listen and look at that list again, but Corrosive is in the conversation. This album drops on October 7th, 2022 on CDN Records. We talk about CDN a lot on here. Those guys are a great label. They put out some killer stuff. And, thrash, they do a lot of death metal on that label, but they don't do only death metal. They do other stuff, right. Obviously. Corrosive is killer. And next week, we're going to play some bumper music with their new stuff. I'm not able to use any of it until it comes out on the 7th. Yeah. So that was the agreement. But I got an early listen because I'm doing a review of it. So I'll be posting that on our group page. So yeah, definitely if you're a fan of bands like Exodus, Testament, Death Angel, maybe a little Creator, this is definitely the band for you. The album that's already out is great. This takes it up like 3 notches. It's really good. Bands, if you're interested in getting your stuff played on here, get a hold of us. The new website is going to have a page actually devoted to this, so bands can get a hold of us.
Definitely.
Pete at murdermetalmayhem.com will get you there, though. Email me, digital stuff, bio, picture, that kind of thing. If we like it, we'll play it, maybe. We might interview you, we might do a feature. If we don't like it, we won't be all hateful. We just won't, do anything more than check it out. But the only way to know is to send it in. We've gotten some good stuff. Not everything fits the format, but, hey, we're nice about it. If you want to do it old school, then send it to Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745. And you want to throw some stickers in there.
I need some stickers.
Some Pop-Tarts, whatever. Not trying to influence us by sending Pop-Tarts, but it doesn't hurt, okay? All right. Joey, now you got the horns next. What is your plan? Do you know who you're going to do yet?
Yeah, I know who I'm going to do, and since we just got fucking zucked on the Facebook and got our page fucking swiped from us,
right?
I figured I was going to... I figured I was going to do a band fucking that might piss off some people. I don't know. I'm getting offensive with it. I don't know exactly how much I can say. We'll play it by ear as I do it, but I'm doing the band regardless, and that band's going to be Anal Cunt.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. All right,
I might have to edit a couple of the fucking titles or so, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That should be good. Where are those guys from?
Massachusetts.
Okay. All right, now the 666 Club is a way you can help support what we're doing. It's our Patreon. $3 a month is all it is. You can pledge more if you want. Got one listener pledges $6.66.
Yes, sir.
Fuck yeah. And on the website, we're going to have a special store for the 666 Club members, so you can purchase things at your reduced price as a thank you to being a sponsor or a Patreon supporter of the show. So we got bonus stuff on there, the interviews when they come out, the episodes the day that I upload them. You get everything really fast and before everybody else. So it's cool, kind of a VIP experience. All right, guys. Well, we have done plenty of metal tonight, and there's something waiting for us in the Mayhem segment.
Yeah, I'm curious.
That is going to be very interesting. So, Chris, what the fuck do we got to do?
Oh, let's get our Mayhem on.
Gentlemen, it's that special time of the year again. Nothing says let's sweeten up that honey pot more than springtime. A little spring cleaning, if you will. You can't have your wife's cooter stinking up the block when the windows and doors are open after a long, hard winter. A little Dr. Keen's vagina maintenance, ching, is just what you need to cover up that funk. With Mother's Day coming, nothing says you love her more than our special Poontang Potpourri. Poontang Potpourri! Poontang Potpourri! You'll think you woke up in a bed of roses instead of that dumpster behind Long John Silver's. Fucking gross. Pick up a tub of our Poontang Potpourri this month and get a complimentary Dr. Keen's Vagina Maintenance Clothespin for you to close your nose when you smell that gross-ass cunt. Dr. Keen's Vagina Maintenance. We've been serving Snatch Up for more than 50 years.
Oh, my God. Wow. I mean, when you haven't heard one of those for a while, Joey, it just, holy shit. Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance commercial, Joey killing it with that. And before that, Deeds of Flesh, Master of Murder. That bass player is fucking ridiculous, man. I was listening to him, following along, like, just wicked as fuck.
Right?
Like, very Alex Webster of him. So
fucking badass shit.
very, very, very cool shit. So good episode or good feature on them, Chris.
Hell yeah.
I thought that was excellent. Yeah. And, of course, we are in Mayhem, and this is where we tend to tell some silly stories, I'll say, from our past.
Sometimes
we've done some real gems, like Joey peeing in his pants and all sorts of fun stuff. Chris losing his teeth and me flying through a window on my sled when I was a little kid. But we've told some good ones, and I honestly can't believe I have not told this one. All right?
I'm ready, dude.
So I sent these guys a text message today, and it was like, hey, guys, you know, I've got a Mayhem story tonight, because we don't really know. I mean, a lot of times it's kind of a last-minute thing, you know. Very seldom are they thought out, because we've told a lot of those stories already, you know. So these are things that happened to us, and like in this case, remembering something that I hadn't brought up. So anyway, for my day job, I teach safety training classes to people that work in like maintenance, custodians, different trades, electricians, plumbers, whatever, okay? And I teach them how to work with dangerous shit safely. So I deal with a lot of different people. And there have been some interesting people in my classes. I can only
imagine.
Yeah, I've had some very interesting people in my classes before. But the guy I'm going to talk about tonight is hands down, not even a person can compare to how fucking amazing this dude is, okay? Amazing in that he is like a living, breathing comedic skit, like 24/7, okay? So
sounds awesome.
Yeah. So the amount of time I spent with this guy. Okay. So one class he took with me, probably in the late 90s, I'm going to guess. First time I met him was a 4-day long class. So I'm in a room with him for 4 days. Okay. In a class with, a dozen people or so, maybe 15. Then a few years later, okay, he came to another class that was 5 days long. So I got him for a whole week that time.
Right.
Now, the first time I saw him, he was out at our office, okay? This guy is very difficult to have in that kind of environment where you got like people around and civilized people, not plumbers and people like that like to fuck around.
Right, but he's constantly fucking around anyway.
You're in an office, you know what I mean? You got to watch your shit. So not the place to have this dude in the class, okay? So then for years, we were teaching class off-site at a hotel, and I was like, this would be the place to have him here.
Right.
Because I don't care what he does here. Like, it's not my problem.
Right.
All those years, I never saw him. Then we go back to the office because we renovated and made a new training room that can hold more people. And that's when he came back, was the second time. So I'm like, son of a bitch with this, right? So the guy I'm talking about, I'm just going to go by his nickname. But I know he wouldn't give a shit if I was to tell him I was doing this. He just the last person that's probably listened to a podcast. But this guy went by his nickname was Bags. Okay, Bags.
That's great.
All right. So, the thing about Bags that made him so funny was not only what he was saying, but the look. Okay, looked like a pear. Okay, and he had a real weird voice. It was almost like the Freddie Frankfurter story.
I was going to say, yeah.
Almost like that, but a little different, a little more raspy, okay? But very strange, all right? So you got this great big dude shaped like a pear with this funny voice, and it was fucking intense, okay? Comedy Central totally missed the boat with this dude, okay? So I'm just going to throw a few little scenarios of what this guy did while he was in this class. He had one of those fart machine things, the remote control. Yeah. He put it in his back pocket and was walking around our office like on break and like bending down to pick stuff up and then farting with the machine.
Right.
And so he's like around people, like, and he's like bending over and shitting his pants, And he's doing this, and it was funny, but it was like, okay, it was funny like for 5 minutes.
Right, now you're just...
They're like, dude, really, you're going to get me in trouble, So that started, but then the last day he taped it under my chair.
Oh, shit.
And while I was talking, he was doing it, and it was funny for about the first 30 seconds.
Right.
Then it was annoying, and I couldn't find it. I don't even know how the fuck he had this shit taped up there. So he was being a fucking pain in the ass, okay? So it gets progressively worse, okay? So that's just kind of warm up. Then I had half the class in one room doing hands-on exercises with training, and the other half was watching a video in the training room where we were. I'm in the big room with the hands-on training, and I smell smoke. So I'm like, what the fuck? Is somebody smoking back there? So I ran back there, and Bags is standing there with this training book. Was like a 3-ring binder with this completely dumbfounded look on his face and flames shooting up like a foot in the fucking air.
And he's holding it.
And he's like, what do I do? I'm like, throw it out the fucking door. There's a door right behind him, like a foot away from him. So meanwhile, I'm trying to keep this shit on the down low at the fucking office. They can see the main office people looking out the window can see a binder fly out the back door in flames, and then Bags in all his girth jumping up and down on this fucking binder out there. I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. He had this black powder shit, and he was snapping his fingers, and sparks were fucking flying off his fingers, and he lit his fucking book on fire. Okay, so I keep going, all right?
That's fucking great.
Because this is still just kind of running some sprints now, okay? I'm not done, okay? Then, while we were in the class, okay, he was joking around. There was like 3 or 4 of them from ISU in the class. And so he is, telling us this story about how they would go in the dorm rooms and do because he was a plumber.
Right.
So he was doing a plumbing job in a dorm room, and he would find sex toys, and they would take them. And
my God.
Bring them back to their shop, and we're putting them up on the wall. It was like an entire wall of this shit.
That's like a sex toy shrine and shit.
While we were in the class, there was a news story that night. They got busted, and a bunch of them got fired, and one of the guys in the class had to leave. He was done. I was like, oh shit, that was real,
Oh my God.
That was not an exaggeration. And Baggs said he was eating his dinner and watching it, just laughing his ass off, because he's single. He didn't give a fuck. Meanwhile, these guys with wives are like, what the hell were you doing, Yeah, pretty bad, okay? So it kind of takes putting the pinups on the wall a whole different level,
right.
Okay?
Are you stealing chicks' sex toys?
Yeah, okay? Not just Baggs, the whole department was doing it. Okay. Now, here we're getting into some good ones here. I got 2 more. This one, he gets a call early in the morning. He's a plumber. Emergency call in a tower that's 20 stories tall on campus. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he gets a call that there's an emergency on one of the upper floors. Okay.
Right.
So he's rushing in there with his tools, doesn't know what's going on, takes the elevator up as far as he could go, then you got to do stairs. He gets onto the floor, and there is a naked dude handcuffed to the railing with duct tape over his mouth.
Get the fuck out of here.
No. So he's like, what the fuck? This dude's like, freaking out. So he pulls the duct tape off his mouth, and the guy goes, pull the carrot out of my ass. And he's like, the what? He goes, there's a carrot in my ass. And he puts the tape on. He says, I don't fucking think so. He put the tape back on him. So after he does that, all these cops come out of the woodwork because they all were in on the joke. And they were like, yeah, this kid got fucking handcuffed to the railing. Apparently, he was in some girl's room and was doing shit he didn't need to be doing.
Right.
And her and her roommate beat him up, shoved a carrot up his ass, and handcuffed his ass to the railing. So in my classes, okay, the high score on the test gets a steak dinner. Okay?
Oh, right, okay.
And it's a Salisbury steak dinner, and it's a bit, and I've been doing it for 20-something years.
Right.
In this particular class, we had the special Bags Award, and
fuck.
it was the biggest carrot I could possibly find. The guy that won the Bags Award is walking out of the office with this it was like a 1.5 long carrot.
Right.
He's walking out the door with it, and one of the office people wow, Pete's giving out carrots or something yeah, I think I'm going to make a stew with it or something like that. And the whole time I'm like, please don't fucking explain to her what that means.
Yeah, no.
It would have been funny had Bags won his own award.
That would have been great.
But he didn't. So anyway, there's that. Now the ultimate here, the ultimate, okay, is he would talk about this professor that he knew that taught animal husbandry classes at ISU. Okay? And he would talk with tremendous excitement
about the day they jerked off a pig. Like, with reverence, okay? The professor would tell him when he was going to do it.
Oh, shit.
So Bags could come out and watch
Get the fuck
girls jack off a pig. I'm not kidding you.
Oh.
He was offering to me to go with him if I wanted to. He's like, Pete, you want to know when they do it? I can let you know. And I'm like, no,
I'm good. I don't want to.
Like, Dad, I don't know about that. You know, Tim was like,
he was going to let you go for free?
Yeah, Tim was like, I'll go.
Damn.
Tim was like, I'll go. I'm like, no, dude, like, this dude's whack. But yeah, I used to go out there and watch these girls do this.
That's fucking crazy.
What the fuck with this dude?
That's a fucking fetish right there.
Yeah. So this guy
that's Porky's.
Imagine
Right.
this guy, though, in an office, you know, telling these stories loud. And I'm like, dude, you got to keep it down. Like, this is too much. And we had the class laughing so fucking hard. But I ran into him one time years later. He's retired now, medically retired. Ran into him at Walmart with my daughter, who at the time was maybe like 9 or 10.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was like he was over the top. He didn't say anything raunchy or anything, but just his voice. And like I said, he's just striking looking. He's
Right.
just very odd. But yeah, that's the last time I saw him. He was very, very cool. I loved having him in class, but what a guy to have
That's
sitting
fucking
there cracking
hilarious.
jokes and telling stories. And oh my God.
That's like I'm stealing fucking sex toys.
Yeah, I mean,
Stealing
this guy was
dildos
just
and
over the
shit.
top. So I hope you guys like that one.
That's fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Joey's probably
Fucking
still
bad.
Joey's probably still hung up on that whole jerking off the pig thing. I don't know.
I can't believe he was going to let you see that for free.
Right?
We gotta pay
Like, come
for
on,
that.
man.
Charge money for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a good killer cage match to get to tonight, guys. That's where we take a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, and a list of some variables to make it fun. And we have our listeners
Yeah.
pick random numbers. Now, we've been having a problem getting some good listeners because we were booted out of Facebook world. But if you're listening and you go on Facebook, join our Murder Metal Mayhem group. And that's where we're going to do this. So you want to get in on that if you want to contribute. But Chris, who do we want to say thank you to today?
We got Frankenstein, and we got Mike Hunt, and we got Jack Me Off.
Oh, yeah. So thanks, Frank, Mike, and Jack. We appreciate that. And we got a good one going on tonight in the steel cage. Joey, who is up tonight?
We got Timothy McVeigh, and he's going to be going up against Israel Keys.
Wow. One really angry motherfucker and a real pompous fucking prick. That should be interesting. Definitely looking forward to this one. And Chris, couple of objects for him to fight with.
They have a cattle prod and,
Oh.
a long sock filled with quarters.
Oh boy.
That's
Both
rough.
of those could be nasty.
That I've been hit with a cattle prod a few times.
Yeah, that's not good. Is that what's wrong with you?
Yeah, probably.
And then Joey, what about the variable tonight? I like this one here.
The variable is Will Smith on acid trying to slap everyone.
So not just Chris
great.
Rock, just everybody
Yeah.
slap.
Everybody.
All right, Fresh Prince getting fresh. All right, so we've got Timothy McVeigh and Israel Keys going at it in the steel cage with a cattle prod, a long sock filled with quarters, and we got Will Smith on acid in the cage with them trying to slap everybody. Oh my God, I don't even know where to start.
I don't either.
Chris, what do you think, dude?
I honestly have no idea, man. Fucking Smith, dude, he's on acid. McVeigh thinks he's cute, I think.
I don't know. I mean, Timothy McVeigh was a pretty big dude. He worked out. He was, all fucking military.
Yeah.
So I think Israel Keys is very mismatched here physically.
With McVeigh, yeah, but
The cattle prod, though.
dude, I don't even know where to go on this one, dude.
I mean, you've been hit with a cattle
I've
prod.
been hit with
so-
a cattle prod. Fucking Israel Keys gets a hold of that fucking cattle prod, dude. He's taking he could take McVeigh down. You hold that shit on, and you dropping them, dude.
Right.
So like, if Israel Keys gets the cattle prod, fucking Will Smith, he's fucking like tripping his balls off, looking at like he wants to try too. Like, that looks fucking cool, man. Let me try.
Right.
Fucking gets hit with the cattle prod as well. Fucking.
But what if he slaps McVeigh while he's getting the cattle prod? Would he get the shock
electrocuted? I mean, electricity
too?
would go through fucking.
I mean, Joey, what do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, tell me your story, Joey. I don't even know on this one. I'm like, just like, what?
What do you think, Joey?
I think whenever the bell rings on this one, fucking Israel Keys is such a fucking narcissistic piece of shit. First thing he thinks of, he's not even worried about Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh, he's looking at the goddamn fucking outer space. He's not even paying attention to where he's at with a scowl on his face. So he's not even giving any tells away. So Israel Keys isn't paying him too much attention. The problem is like you said, physically, Timothy McVeigh probably fucking knocked the shit out of Israel Keys in their primes. Fucking, So physically, I would say that's the case. But for the cage match purposes, McVeigh staring off into space, hating the fucking world, hating the government, hating bitches, being the OG incel.
Right.
So Keys is like, okay, well, that don't even look like a good time to me. He looks over at Will Smith, who's over there just fucking tripping balls.
Right, just
and
out.
He's fucking singing fucking Wild Wild West or whatever he's singing. And Israel Keys is like, hey, man, I will fucking totally hook you up. I will fucking show you where there's some fucking buried murder kits that you can fucking get down after you slap somebody. If you will make a fucking badass Will Smith Fresh Prince rap about me, and you have to have, but the stipulation is he has to have fucking DJ Jazzy Jeff produce the whole song and make the fucking track.
Wow.
But anyway, so he was like, okay, you make this song for me, that's going to be fucking lit. And he starts talking to fucking Will Smith, and fucking they're coming up with a hook. And they're talking about Israel Keys overseas, he's murdering these hoes. And after all this shit, Timothy McVeigh, the whole time he's been fucking sitting there staring off into space, pissed off. All he's been thinking is figuring in his head, and now he knows how to do it. He grabs that cattle prod and the quarters. He makes a fucking bomb with that shit, blows everybody sky high in that fucking ring, because he cannot stand to hear them two sing another fucking verse.
I'm sure. What's Timothy McVeigh listening to, you think? Ramstein or something?
Probably fucking Burzum. Yeah, Ramstein.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know with this one. I think it's funny. I mean, I don't see how McVeigh would just beat the living piss out of Keys. But like Chris said, man, whoever gets that cattle prod is going to be nasty. But I thought that would be a funny idea, though, is Will Smith slapping somebody and then getting electrocuted with the cattle prod by proxy there. So. All right, well, very good. Always love some good killer cage match. And again, you listeners out there want to get in on that, you can go to Facebook and get on our Murder Metal Mayhem group and be a part of that. All right, now I did want to mention again our remote, Chris, we're going to be doing.
Yes, sir.
Doing double duty next week. Doing 2 remotes in 1 week, but we're recording 2 episodes next week. The second episode is going to be on zombies, Chris. That's going to be fun.
Yep. Out of the goddamn Baldwin Asylum haunted attraction in Rantoul.
That's right, Rantoul, Illinois. And we'll be there Saturday, October 15th. That's 2022. So come out, say hello. We'll be there from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we will have merch. So if you want to come buy some shirts or whatever, we'll be there. And hopefully, weather permitting, there is going to be some cover, but not 100%. So with us having electronics and shit, it could be hairy if it's like a real hardcore rain. So, all right. Well, I got a brand new book that's coming out. I've got a copy of it here in the studio with me. Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Chris, you got to see it. Brian Usual did a cool job.
Yeah, the physical looks fucking dope as shit.
Yeah, the grindhouse kind of cover. I really like it. And it's got us on it too. I mean,
it does.
We're in like a film reel at the bottom since we're the characters in the 2 stories, 666 Express, and Create the Chaos. So if you're listening to this and you like the podcast, you would love those 2 short stories because that's all about us and of course, guys, the 666 Express with CK in it.
Yeah, with his voice and shit.
You know, CK passed. So I wanted to write a sequel, but I didn't know how to address that. So we did something that I think pays homage to CK, and we moved on, and we go to the subways of New York, and we get chased by this giant fucking horrible creature. It's fucking badass. And then I threw in an extra story, Death of a Resurrection Man, inspired by our episode on Burke and Hare. So that is what's in this Slab of Sickness. 3 stories, but Death of a Resurrection Man is almost a novella. But it's about 100 pages, but I'm going to keep them cheap. And I'll link to that in the episode description if you're interested in picking up a copy of Slab of Sickness because of the tie to Murder Metal Mayhem. So you can support the cause and do that. And you know, like bands release EPs, that's kind of like my version of an EP there.
Right, pretty much.
Between projects as I'm getting ready to work on my next novel. All right, the new website, as I mentioned, we're going to be going a different direction. We're going to try to move away a little bit from focusing on any one particular forum. We're going to come up with our own cool website, one that we can interact with you guys. We're going to establish an email list so that we can keep people posted, new merch coming out, new episodes, what have you. I did hire somebody in May to do this, but it didn't work out, so now it's on me to get it done. And I looked at it, and I've been doing really well. I got my writing website is about 90%. Once that's done, then I move over to the podcast side and got some really cool ideas of things we can do with it. Killer Cage match page, maybe some of the fun matchups we've done. I really want to do some cool shit with the website. So this way we're not handcuffed to Facebook rules. We can do more of what we want without anybody telling us what we can do and not do. So we'll keep you posted on that. But I'm hoping here by the end of October at the latest, we will have a fully functioning website rocking and something that we can all get behind, because this Facebook shit just sucks. It's just bullshit coming out of nowhere. And when you rely on it like we had been, it's concerning. But the listens, for some reason, have gone up.
Right.
So we don't know why, but we appreciate it very much.
Right.
All right. So the YouTube channel we've got, also you could subscribe to that. We may do YouTube Live, which offers the same thing like Facebook does. We could do that on YouTube. So that might be a way to do that once we establish a good email list. We can do YouTube video live stuff, and people could connect with us that way.
And you'll be able to get to see the murder segment of this episode.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, we have done plenty of mayhem tonight. I hope the stories were fun. I hope you guys liked that. It was fun telling them. So let's hit that fucking outro. Those guys are fucking nasty, man.
Hell yeah, Cut Up.
Cut Up. The song Vermin Funeral. So fucking
They're real
brutal.
cut up.
They got a music video for that song. It's a good video. Go check it out. Cut Up. So wicked. All right, bumper music tonight, Joey. Who was it?
Deeds of Flesh, Cut Up, and Flayed Disciple.
Nasty. That's three pretty brutal fucking bands right there.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Metal segment intro, Chris.
Fucking Chrysix, man. Hell
you
yeah.
know it. And our Murder Metal Mayhem intro by Low 12. And somebody asked me what song that was, of course, Chris. That would be
fucking Crawl Space.
Crawl
Speaking
Space.
of John Wayne Gacy.
Speaking of Gacy, that's the song I wrote about John Wayne Gacy called Crawl Space. All right, thanks to you guys listening out there. We keep seeing those numbers in, and we appreciate that, even despite the Facebook drama, listeners going up.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Spread the word.
Spread the word, share it, whatever. But just don't get yourself banned over it.
Yeah, right.
All right, Chris, what about that first commenter there?
We have Christopher Nielsen says, I really loved your Supermax episode. It's always awesome when you have Tex on the podcast.
Without a doubt.
Dude. Thank you. And yeah, it's great having Tex.
He really likes it too. It's a cool thing for all of us, I think. It's just fun talking with him. Shane, when we've had Shane on, of course, we got Shane coming up in the rotation here. And Tex again on the 200th episode. We'll have Tex in on that one, so that'll be awesome. All right, Joey, what about the next one?
We got Banging Away on Darla
Banging
Brown.
Away on Darla.
Darla Brown 4343 said, I absolutely loved your Gerard Schaefer episode. I'm a listener in Florida, and his case has always fascinated me.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid cops.
Thanks, Darla. Yeah, that was a fun one, and we did get a lot of listens to that. It definitely ticked up higher than the others. So definitely a lot of people digging that Schaefer episode. So thanks. And I know our listener in Australia, our buddy Mick, who's a former Australian federal police officer, he really liked that one and sent us a nice message about what he thought about it. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Cosmo Kramer 69. I love this one here. I don't know if it's the Cosmo Kramer, from Seinfeld or not. But I've been a listener for the past 2 years in Dallas, and I really like the way you guys do serial killers and metal. They go together great. So thanks, Cosmo.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah. And then, Chris, what about that last one?
Melinda Metal Goddess says, have you guys ever done a feature on Man of War? They're one of my favorite bands.
Not really I mean, if one of you guys wanted to do Man of War, I guess that's up to you. I'm just not a fan.
Right.
I'm just not. I listened to them for a minute back in the 80s, and it just wasn't for me. So,
right.
So probably not, Melinda. No slight to you, of course. But unless Chris or Joey has a burning desire to do some Man of War, probably not a band we would do here. So
maybe she'll love it, the anal cunt that I'm going to
She might. She might like that, Joey. That's very possible. That's very possible. All right, so pick up a copy of Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Check that episode description if you want to get a copy of that. And I got bookmarks coming. It's going to be awesome. One side of the bookmark is a ticket for the 666 Express. The other side is a ticket for the 6 train for Create the Chaos.
Fucking right.
And that's going to be the bookmark that goes with this, and a full 11 by 17 of that sick Grindhouse cover that Brian did. That's going to look really cool in a poster. So all of that for $10 plus shipping. So like I said, go to the episode description if you're interested. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all those places. The YouTube channel, of course, is something we try to push. We got video tonight. We shot the video from the Frankenstein part of the show, the murder segment. So if you're listening and you want to check that out, go on YouTube and look us up there, or follow it in the episode description here. Also, remember, we're going to be out at the Baldwin Asylum Haunted Attraction in Rantoul, Illinois, Chris.
Yep.
Saturday.
October 15th.
October 15th. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be talking some zombies. That'll be awesome. And we're going to be there from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And hopefully, Joey, you can be in on that one, but it depends on your schedule and all that. So we'll have to hear from you on that.
Right, yeah. Yep.
All right.
You can support the show by going and joining our 666 Club. That's patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem. $3 a month is all it is. Episode description's got the link as well. Now, Chris, we can never let him go without hearing a karaoke song.
Nope.
I wished I could have done the Frankenstein song, and I'm pissed I didn't. But I honestly didn't have time with this urge to get this website shit going.
Alice Cooper's Feed My Frankenstein.
Yeah. I was just like, how did I not do it? So I'm sorry. But until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Trip the decaf, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hayward sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. And when the taxi man turned on the radio, a Creator song was on. A Creator song was on. A Creator song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. I'm nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. They know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Into the club in my taxi cab, everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that dude that's rocking kicks? He's gotta be from out of town. So hard with the boys not around me. It's definitely like a horn-time party. Cause all I see are fucking posers. I guess I never got the memo. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. And when the DJ dropped my favorite tune and a harlot song was on. A harlot song was on. A harlot song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. I'm nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up, playing my song. You know they're gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Feel like hopping on a flight back to my hometown tonight. Something stops me every time. Every fucking time. The DJ plays my song and I feel alright. Yeah. So I put my hands up to play my song. Butterflies fly away. I'm nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. My hands up to play my song. And now I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. So I put my hands up, playing my song. Butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. And I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Fuck yeah, 3 years. Murder Metal Mayhem.
Mother, man.